Eating healthy. It should be the most natural thing in the world, right? But instead, most of us are just drowning in a sea of conflicting advice, miracle cures, and all these trendy diets. It is just exhausting. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to tune into the science of what actually builds lasting health. So here's our game plan. First, we'll dive into the great diet confusion and why so many of us feel lost. Then we're going to bust the myth of the one best diet. After that, we'll look beyond obsessing over carbs and fats. We'll explore lifestyles that actually work. And then, and this is the important part, we'll show you how to engineer your own habits for success without all the stress. Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. The great diet confusion. I mean, really, why does something so fundamental feel like you need a PhD to figure it out? Let's get into it. This question. This is the one, isn't it? The one we've all typed into Google at 2 a.m. just hoping for that one single magic bullet answer. And you know what? There is a multi-billion-dollar industry out there built on promising us that they have that secret. Well, here's the hard truth. Our modern world is practically designed to make us fail. We're surrounded by this endless buffet of cheap, super tasty, high-calorie food. It's everywhere. And at the same time, our lives have become so sedentary. We sit in the car, we sit at a desk, we sit on the couch. Our culture makes the path of least resistance the unhealthy one. And I want to be clear, this isn't a failure of your willpower. It's a feature of our environment. So if the environment is kind of stacked against us, what's the solution? Well, that brings us right to our next section, where we have to tackle that best diet question head on and expose it for what it really is, a myth. Just let that sink in for a second. After decades and decades of these diet wars, low carb versus low fat, paleo versus Atkins, the scientific consensus is actually crystal clear. No single commercial diet has ever been proven to be better than all the others for long-term weight loss. Not one. So if it's not the magic formula, what's the secret? Well, it all comes down to one word: adherence. The single biggest predictor of success, in study after study, is simply whether or not you can stick with the plan. Any plan. So in that sense, a diet is really just a tool. It's a set of rules that helps you stay committed and make more conscious choices instead of just grabbing whatever's in front of you. And this idea of adherence, that it's about what you can stick with, that leads us perfectly to our next point. Because if sticking to a plan is what matters, then obsessing over the perfect ratio of carbs, fats, and proteins is completely missing the point. It's time to shift our focus from quantity to quality. Okay, let's take carbs. They've been the bad guy for years, right? But the science is so clear, not all carbs are created equal. On one side, you've got complex carbs from whole foods. Think fruits, veggies, whole grains. On the other, you've got simple, refined stuff like sugar and white bread. And a huge scientific review back in 2014 found that in the long run, low-carb diets weren't any better for weight loss than balanced ones. It's the quality of the carb that matters. And you know what? We've seen the exact same story play out with fat. We've totally moved on from that all fat is evil era because we now realize it's a whole spectrum. Of course, there are unhealthy trans fats we should avoid, but then there are these incredibly healthy fats and things like avocados, nuts, and oily fish. The research is clear. Our health gets better when we replace saturated fats with these better ones. This whole quality over quantity idea applies to protein too. It's not just about getting enough grams of protein, it's about the package it comes in. Think about it. A piece of salmon is a protein package that also delivers amazing healthy fats. A processed hot dog, on the other hand, is a protein package that comes with a ton of salt and preservatives. Choosing the healthier package, that makes all the difference. Okay, so if we're going to stop obsessing over macros, where do we put our energy? Well, that brings us to section 4, focusing on the lifestyles that are actually proven to work. We're moving beyond just the number on the scale and into what really creates long-term evidence-based health. And the evidence for this is just so powerful. I mean, look at these examples. We are not talking about small changes here. The DASH diet can lower blood pressure as much as some medications. A low glycemic index diet can significantly improve blood sugar control for people with diabetes. And again, studies connect plant-based diets to better health. This is literally food as medicine in action. And check this out, a 35% drop in cholesterol. That is the result of something called the portfolio diet. It's basically a plant-based approach that strategically includes a portfolio of cholesterol-lowering foods, things like nuts, soy, and certain fibers. It is a perfect example of how targeted food choices can have a massive impact on your health.
So when you put all of this evidence together, one approach consistently rises to the top: the Mediterranean lifestyle. And the key word there really is lifestyle. It's not just about the food, which, yeah, is full of plants and healthy fats. It's also about physical activity and the powerful role of social connection, of eating with others. It's the whole package.
Okay, this all sounds great, but how do we actually do it, in our actual busy lives? That's what we're going to get into in Section 5. It's time to get practical and talk about how to engineer your habits by changing your environment so you don't have to rely on willpower alone. This is so cool. This data comes from something called the National Weight Control Registry. It tracks over 10,000 people who've lost a significant amount of weight and kept it off for years. And look at what they have in common. It's not some secret diet or a magic pill. It's a bunch of simple, consistent habits. They eat breakfast, they move their bodies, they weigh in regularly, and they watch less TV. See, it's about the pattern, not a perfect formula.
And all of these habits, they point to this really powerful idea from behavioral science called choice architecture. This is a real game changer. The whole idea is to stop trying to rely on willpower, which we all know runs out, and instead to intentionally design your environment so that the healthy choice becomes the easy choice, the default choice, the one you don't even have to think about.
And you can start doing this today with a few super simple tweaks in your kitchen. 1. Make healthy food visible. Put a fruit bowl right there on the counter. 2. Make the unhealthy food invisible. Put the cookies in a container you can't see through on a high shelf. 3. Use smaller plates and glasses. You will automatically shrink your portions without even thinking about it. These little nudges do the work for you. And now for our final and maybe the most important piece of this entire puzzle, your mindset. Because absolutely none of these strategies will work without adopting an attitude of consistency over perfection. I mean, that just says it all, doesn't it? Lasting health isn't built in one perfect week or a flawless month. It's built in the patterns we create over years. It is about what you do most of the time, not all of the time. And a fantastic way to put this into practice is the 80-20 rule. Just aim to make the healthier choice 80% of the time. If you can do that, you should be absolutely thrilled. You're winning. And that other 20%, that's for living your life. It's for birthday cake, for celebrations, for just enjoying food without a giant side of guilt.
So let's bring it all together. The goal here is not to find the one perfect diet. It's to build your own personal portfolio of healthy behaviors. We're talking small tweaks, a little more self-awareness, more movement, and engineering your world to make healthy eating pretty much mindless.
So I'll leave you with this one question. Don't think about some massive overhaul. Forget about being perfect. Just ask yourself, what is one small tweak, one tiny change you can make starting today to begin building your portfolio of healthier habits?